when I seen this name. And when you look at where he's at on our board, he's extremely low. When you look at the mock drafts, he's extremely low. By the time we get through going through this profile and just the type of player he was coming out of high school, I think you guys are going to be intrigued. I know I was. I got really excited after reading this whole profile. So here we go. They scheduled a top 30 visit with Florida cornerback Jason Marshall per team sources, eyeing him as a potential late-round steal in the 2025 NFL Draft, ranked 332 on our PTA big board. Do you have him pulled up right now, Emilio, by chance?
Yes, I would just real quick had him stacked up in the corner just by position. So just bringing back to Jordan Hancock, Jacob, to your point, right next to him, Mac McWilliams. Packers met with him. Jason Marshall is about 10 corners down in our numbers, but that puts him in front of like Fentrell Cypress, Cam Stone, those kind of guys. Now we have him. Let's see, Jason Marshall here is at 332, 537 for 22, 446 for 23, 336 for 24, PFF Big Board 182, consensus 182.
Gotcha. So they're seeing him as a top 200 pick, as where we're seeing him in the 332 spot because the PFF grades.
PFF grades. I mean, obviously they're getting better each year, but we haven't broken the top 350 corners. We gotta.
Yeah, and when you see the grade, you'll probably go, "Oh, that's not that bad," because it's not. But I just like to know, out of all the cornerbacks in all of college football, here's where this person ranked. I really like to have that at my disposal there. So it goes on to say, Marshall brings a lean 6 foot, 194-pound frame that meets the threshold, obviously. 30.25-inch arms, offering the Packers a mix of speed, ball skills, and developmental upside to deepen their secondary. All right, this is him in high school, like a man bear out there. 5-star recruit. I repeat, a 5-star recruit out of Palmetto High School in Miami, Florida. In the 2021 class, Jason Marshall arrived as an elite defensive back prospect with a 96.88 grade from On3. So for those of you who don't know, On3 is an excellent high school recruiting site. They take all of the major sites and come up with what they call an On3 industry grade. It's the best you can get is 100. He was a 96.88. At 6 foot and 175 pounds, he flashed fluid hips, quick twitch agility, and a fearless approach in coverage, doubling as a track star with a 10.6 second 100-meter dash. His senior tape showcased sticky man coverage skills and a playmaker's nose for the ball, earning him all-state honors, ranked number 5 among Florida prospects. For those of you who don't know, Florida is like a huge pipeline of college prospects. Florida, Georgia, now North Carolina starting to pick up some steam. Obviously, Texas has always been a powerhouse, but Florida is like that. You want elite athletes, that's where you go recruit at. It's one of the reasons why the SEC was so strong before the NIL era. Now that the NIL era has hit, some of these northern teams are really dipping into Florida and grabbing those prospects, and I don't blame them one bit. So number 5 ranked in Florida is a big deal there. Marshall chose Florida over, listen to these schools that he got offered. He chose Florida over Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and LSU, heralded as a top-tier talent with NFL potential. When you look at the PFF grades here in Florida, starting in 2021, 71.1, then a 65.9, 68.6, and back up to a 71.2. When you look at the snaps, he's pretty much an outside corner, 402 snaps out wide last year, 21 in the slot, 20 in the box as well. So he's definitely more of an outside corner when it comes to that. His coverage grade, 72.1, with a run defense grade of 68.4, which is really interesting. So what do you guys think about him on the surface before we dive deeper into the scouting report here?
I mean, I like him. I was just looking at some of his other measurables. Draft Buzz is talking about some of his strengths. It's the prototypical size and length for an NFL boundary cornerback, allowing him to match up with bigger receivers on the outside. It says he excels in press man coverage, using his long arms and strong hands to disrupt receivers. I think what's even more telling is when you go to his list of quote-unquote weaknesses, there's only 4. One of them says occasionally relies too heavily on his physical tools, leading to grabby play and potential penalties when beaten vertically. One can be inconsistent in run support, sometimes taking poor angles and failing to disengage from blocks effectively. Another is improving his tackling technique and consistency, and then may struggle initially against NFL caliber route runners. And that's his 4 weaknesses. I think that most of those weaknesses are understandable for even the position of cornerback and one for a young cornerback. And I think that they're all traits that he can work on. And if he were to make those weaknesses into even being, break even type stuff, let alone maybe even a strength in a game, maybe future in his game, he could be an absolute hidden gem. And you look at the level of competition he went against, it's very intriguing.
Yeah. I think this could be like Kalen King all over again. If you're looking for a late round corner to add in the draft, 6th or 7th round, this is probably one of your guys that'll probably be there for sure. Add some value.
Exactly what I was going to say, Tim. Take a flyer on a dude that was a top potential coming out of high school, thinking, traits at that point. Like we talked about earlier, going 6th, 7th round in the draft. What is it? You're basically just projecting. You're just picking up traits, saying, hey, do I think that we can shape him into anything? Do we think he can become something? And go for it.
Yep. Especially with Jair being up in the air too. You want to get some depth on the outside for sure.
You never know.
Yeah. Monster Aggressor UFO says, I love Jason. I've been watching him since he got to Florida. CJ Henderson and him was one of the best corner duos before CJ Henderson got drafted. So there you go. I love the fact that he chose Florida too, because could have got a lot more notoriety going to like Alabama, seeing that Florida's program's been down here recently. Yeah, that's it's very, very interesting to see someone kind of stick with the same school throughout those years as well. Because this is the other thing too. It's got to be in the back of your mind whenever you look up, and these are the other offers you got: Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, and LSU. When that program in Florida started to struggle like they have recently, in the back of the prospect's mind, they got to be thinking, I'm going to call up Bama. I wonder if Bama's still interested. I wonder if Ohio State's still interested. I wonder if Georgia's still interested. He didn't do that. He stayed pat, stayed right there in Florida. I respect the hell out of that, man, like wanting to turn a program around. I think it's
kind of a rare occurrence nowadays, for sure.
It really is, man. All right, college statistics. Marshall's 4-year run at Florida highlights a productive career cut short by injury. In 2021, he appeared in all 13 games as a reserve, recording 23 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. In 2022, he played in all 13 games with 4 starts, posting 29 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and 1 interception. His 2023 season saw him start all 12 games, tallying 26 tackles, 11 pass breakups, and 1 sack. In 2024, he started all 7 games he played, notching 20 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble before a shoulder injury in Week 8 win over Kentucky sidelined him for the season's second half. Career totals: 23 starts, 98 tackles, 2 interceptions, 26 pass breakups, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble across 45 games. Look at the RAS, though, Jensen. 6 foot, 194. He came in at a 9.42 RAS score. His vertical jump, 37.5 inches, scoring an 8.11. Broad jump at 10.05, scoring an 8.11. His 40-yard dash, some had reported a 4.46 and a 4.47. The official combine, or RAS card, I should say, is a 4.49. 20-yard split of 2.60, but look at the burst at 10-yard split, 1.54, scoring an 8.32. So the RAS checks out real nice. The arm length, 30.25 inches. Hand size, 9.25 inches when it comes to the RAS card. So interesting prospect for sure. At the combine, Marshall checked in at 6 foot, 194 with 30.25 inch arms, clocking a 4.49 40-yard dash and a 37.5 inch vert. Solid marks for a corner. His 2024 tape, though limited, reveals a press man specialist who uses his reach to disrupt receivers at the line and his speed to mirror downfield, fitting Green Bay's aggressive secondary scheme. He's got a quick trigger to jump routes with soft hands and a knack for breaking up passes, though his lighter frame and shorter arms can leave him vulnerable against bigger physical receivers. No shuttle was recorded, but his on-field agility suggests lateral quickness, projecting him as a day 3 pick with nickel or outside corner versatility. And you see, man, he's not scared to put his shoulder in there and tackle. That's against those Georgia Bulldogs with that pick there. It says injury and character concerns. Marshall's durability took a hit in 2024 with a shoulder injury sustained against Kentucky in Week 8, ended his season after 7 games, raising questions about his recovery timeline. Prior to that, he showed resilience outside a minor hamstring tweak in 2022 that cost him 1 game. He'd been a fixture playing 45 career games. The late 2024 ankle ding referred earlier was a misreport. So evidently that wasn't even true. The shoulder issue was the true culprit. Yeah, the shoulder issue was the true culprit. Off the field, he's a quiet leader, coachable, team first, and respected for his grind. A multi-sport athlete, track and basketball, Marshall's competitive streak remains clean with no off-field red flags. You're seeing a theme here with the no off-field stuff with Green Bay, right? Pretty cool. Draft projection. Jason Marshall slots as a round 5 to 6 prospect in the draft, backed by his number 332 ranking on our PTA big board. His speed and 23 starts make him a developmental gem for the Packers, who could target him with their late round picks. His ceiling is a rotational corner or nickel, hinges on adding strength, overcoming his shorter reach, and proving his shoulder is fully healed. While his floor as a special teams contributor fits Green Bay's history of polishing raw defensive backs like Rasul Douglas, a sleeper whose stock may hinge on pre-draft medicals as the draft nears. So, final thoughts on Jason Marshall here out of Florida, boys?
Again, I hate to keep bringing up Ja, but you talk about corners that had no problem sticking their shoulder in there until they had a shoulder injury, and things change. Shoulder injuries are tough on DBs. Kind of changes their approach. Sometimes it's for the better. It makes them play better with their feet and, beat the man of the spot rather than having to fly in and, shoot the gap and stuff like that. So I just there's a little bit of hesitancy there on my part. I know 6th or 7th round flyer, but there's no telling, what what he's going to look like when he hits an NFL practice field, as far as the shoulder injury and stuff. So I don't know, keep a pin in it,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I mean, Fred's talking about Sam Shields 2.0. I mean, that'd be a pleasant surprise if that's the case. With Joseph, I think, like Tim just highlighted, my biggest concern would be the injury situation. He's been pretty durable up until this point and showed, like Bucket said, that he can play through injury and has done it before. It's just the shoulder injury, like Tim just said. I loved the fact that Jair was willing to go in there, throw his head down, throw the shoulder in, make those meat missile type attacks. But that was all fun and games until it wasn't. And then the complete trajectory of Jair's career in Green Bay was halted by that one I don't want to say over aggressive, but looking back now, a seemingly maybe unimportant play that he threw his head in there. It's a fine line to walk when you're playing at that position for sure.
Yep. All I was going to ask was, is this deserving of a box in 24? Red box on the board.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
It sounds like it could potentially affect his draft position, right?
I mean, the fact that he didn't make it back at all the rest of the season.
Did he do the bench? Did he
No,
do the bench? He did not.
I think you got to put that on the board.
Yeah, put the red box on the board for 24 million. And what he's talking about, guys, if you aren't in the Patreon group, which, by the way, if you're in the Patreon group, you've got access to our updated board. We're updating it as often as we can. We're giving you guys the updated link.
I just put one out there this morning.
Yeah, thank you for that, Emilio. So when you see the red boxes under that year with the PFF ranking at their position, what that's saying is, hey, injury here, okay? Had an injury. And that could be, you see one in 23 and the score is a little lower, and you go, okay, well, he was playing hurt probably. If you bounce back in 24, all right, we feel good about it. There's no red box there. You have a red box in 24, that's suggesting, hey, might be some lingering injury issue there. Now, once we get confirmation, no, they're fully healthy, they're good to go, we'll pull that red box. But we're just a couple weeks away from the draft. There's probably not going to be much changing in that regard. So thank you for doing that, Emilio. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's move it along, boys. So again, keep an eye out for Jason Marshall. I don't know. Did you guys get the same feeling as me? Like going in, seeing where he was at on our board, seeing the PFF rankings and stuff. It's like, man, this guy, what are we doing? And then when you read 5-star recruit in the state of Florida, and the dude decided to stay at Florida where that program struggled, it's like, I don't know, man. There might be something there. Somebody said it in the chat. I can't remember who it was. Said Sam Shields 2.0. I'm not going to lie, man, that was the same exact person I thought of. Was it Fred? Yeah, Fred McFarley. Yeah, that's the same person I thought. I was like, this kind of sounds like Sam Shields. Now, Sam Shields was a lot faster. I want to say like 4.3-ish. I could be wrong there. But it just seems like one of those dudes that's an athletic freak real late in the draft, all of a sudden on the practice squad or kind of playing that backup role for a little bit, and then, bang, he contributes to a championship run for sure. So, all right, there you go, Jason Marshall. Out of
what
Florida.
About real quick? H.E. Soder asked an interesting question. Jamari Harris, I believe, out of Iowa, or Mr. Marshall that we just covered. Where do y'all have Jamari Harris on the PTA big board?
Jamari Harris is 137 on the board. East-West Shrine Bowl, he fits the measurables. 22, we had him at 224, 23, 367. 24, he was 35th. PFF did not actually have him on the big board. And consensus had him 174.
Yeah, so we've got him significantly higher. Jamari Harris significantly higher. And I like those Iowa kids too. I don't know about you guys, man, but they know how to coach up defense over there. So I will be totally on board with Jamari Harris at the right pick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this. Is this true? Homestead Shields was 6'2". I know he was really, really fast, but I didn't know he was 6'2". That's wild. If that's true, let me go to the RAS. It'll take it a minute to load, so we'll just keep talking here. But anybody else you want to see on the board here while we got it pulled up before we move on to the cornerback room? Anybody at all you guys can think of? And I tell you what we could do since we've been doing this here lately, since nobody has anybody. Let's look at the latest targets on the board. As it's filling up, ain't it, Emilio?
Quickly. We were just at 14 last night, 16 tonight. I mean, by middle of next week, I'd say we're capped at our 30.
Yeah. Read them off to them real quick while I try to get this RAS. So I got to know about
Not a problem. So from top of the board going down for us at 12, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. At 15, Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. 20th, wide receiver Mecca Ibuka, Ohio State. 22nd, Mikael Williams, edge, Georgia. 24, offensive tackle Josh Simmons, Ohio State. 26, Siobhan Ravel. I said that wrong. Ravel, corner, East Carolina. 36.
It's tough to remember all this stuff.
Yeah. 36, Tyleek Williams, D-line, Ohio State. 37, wide receiver Matthew Golden, Texas. 40, D-line, TJ Sanders, South Carolina. 112, inside O-lineman Jacob Bayer. We have him as center from Arkansas State. Nice unis, cool stadium in college football. 126, wide receiver Isaiah Bond from Texas. 145, Anthony Belton, tackle out of NC State. 242, Dalton Cooper, tackle out of Oklahoma State. 289, John Williams, tackle out of Cincinnati. And 332, Jason Marshall, cornerback out of Florida. And 356, Esapol, tackle out of Washington State.
Thick.
There you go. So again, the big thing that sticks out there to me is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that are kind of within striking distance of 23, all the way down to Tyleek Williams. That's the big. Now you could say Tyleek's a bit of a reach at 23. I can understand that. Savone Rebel is one of those dudes that, in my opinion, I'm on board. You see the red box there, but everybody's saying this dude is on track. He's going to be just fine. What was it we said, clocked at 21 mile an hour on the treadmill or something crazy. So and hearing his coaches, his teammates talk about his leadership is just like sold me on him. And hearing Greg Cosell say he's the best press man corner in this entire draft as well. Not that we want to play press, but if you ever have to scheme up one random Sunday, all right, guys, we're going to go out here and play press man and really jam him at the line of scrimmage. He's a dude that's got that in his bag for sure. So in terms of Sam Shields, I'm going to drop this down real quick and actually pull the RAS card. I like looking back at old RAS cards, man. This is really cool. So Sam Shields actually measured in at 5'10" was his height. So he wasn't 6'2". He was 5'10", 184